Hey everyone, so for tonight's class, I'm going to be discussing how tech tools can be utilized to enhance lessons through using them with visualizations and the learning environment. And I would actually like to start by showing the concept map that I created for the lesson. Now the misconception topic that I hope is going to be clarified by the end of the lesson is in sexually reproducing organisms, half of the organism's body cells contain DNA from the mother and half contain DNA from the father. Now I personally feel some of the reasons why students have these misconceptions are they might look more like one parent than the other. They might believe the mom has more influence over traits of a daughter, whereas dads might have more influence genetically over sons, and then simply they don't understand how inheritance works or what genotype and phenotype actually means. So I'm going to be going through the ways I hope to clarify the misconception using visualizations through tech tools a little later on in the presentation. Now going on to the lesson plan itself, some of the main objectives that will be achieved are students are going to be able to explain the difference between genotype and phenotype, as well as see how every trait we analyze gets influence from both parents. They're also going to be able to break down and process pedigrees and karyotypes, and lastly analyze more complex Punnett squares like incomplete and codominance, multiple alleles, autosomal disorders, and sex-linked traits. The standard that these objectives meet is based on Bio 3.2.2, predict offspring ratios based on a variety of inheritance patterns, including dominance, codominance, incomplete dominance, multiple alleles, sex-linked traits, and karyotyping. Now I'm going to go a little more in depth on the overview of the lesson. So for the first 10 minutes, they're going to be watching a short flip on the background of Gregor Mendel. We're then going to follow this with a mini PowerPoint overview that I'm going to lead through direct instruction on some of the key vocabulary with simple genetics. After we conclude this portion of the lesson, they're going to go into an activity called the genetics of minions, where they're given the genotype and phenotype for both minion parents' traits, and then they're going to create Punnett squares to determine the baby minion's genetic probabilities for each trait. Lastly, they're then going to draw out all three minions. Once this activity is completed, we will transition into a flip video I made called the Genetics of Harry Potter, and I'll actually be pausing the video at specific points so I can teach the concepts with the video, and we can also have some class discussion during the video itself. They're then going to go into a drag and drop Punnett square online system to practice simple genetics and copy the questions asked in the lab as their write-up summary. And this is going to be a great way for them to see every trait that they analyze has influence from both parents. Now the evaluation portion of the lesson I feel is going to take about 1 week to complete. And this is going to be the storyboard and the digital pedigree. And I'm going to specifically go into these two tech tools on the next slide where visuals are present. So the tech tools I think will be great evaluation measures for seeing how the misconception has been clarified are the storyboard and the digital pedigree. The storyboard is going to be completed and in the Storybird platform, and they're going to be creating a 5-page short story where they will have to clarify how inheritance works. In the visual pedigree, they're going to be given a pedigree template and then recreate the template like an actual family tree. In pedigrees, men are represented by squares and women are represented by circles. So the men have to be in square picture frames and the women have to be in circle picture frames. They're then going to be able to choose from a list of disorders to illustrate. And the student example from my class that I put above is on albinism. They're also going to have to include a Punnett square showing how that trait has been inherited into the offspring. Now the reason why I chose this topic is because I have a huge passion for the incorporation of visual arts in my classes. And I think incorporating technology, students are able to process complex topics on much higher levels of learning. I do want to make note, it's important to realize visualizations could take many forms like graphs, pictures, diagrams, and animations. And it's my hopes with incorporating these tech tools, students will better be able to understand every trait a person inherits has influence from both parents. The teacher's main role, of course, is going to be showing how to operate each site through direct instruction, and the students are going to be using each platform to either design a text or picture representation of the topics assigned, or simply practice Punnett squaring. Now in my class, students had the most difficulty with the digital pedigree because they did not have long enough to play with the paint program before having to do the assignment. So that is my lesson. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy it.